Hello, everybody. Well, I'm glad that I was able to actually capture you. So, the purpose and the intention of this presentation is that I am going to go through the reading of the November issue of what we call the Diamond Member package of No BS Inner Circle. Now, for those who do not know who No BS Inner Circle is, I will go ahead and tell you real quick. Dan S. Kennedy is um, one of the premier guy who actually talk about direct response marketing. So recently, one of the people who've been trained through the program, Adam Whitty, actually took over and purchased the whole organization. And ever since, there's been some massive changes, as he had promised last year or earlier this year. And I've been introduced to Dan's World about 9, 10 years ago with a friend of mine, and he gave me a book of all the things that he was doing, how successful he was. And one of the things that really got my attention is that I got a book that he actually wrote in with Mr. Kennedy. But really, what a, caught my attention is the book that's called The Ultimate Marketing Plan. And that is the first one that got my attention. So when I saw that, I got, I would say I only read 2% of it because he said not to skip over, and I did. And that literally made a whole lot of money for ourselves. Now I'm going back to be more of a person that completes stuff. So I'm going back to these studies, but what I'm doing is that although I have a lot of the books, I'm focusing more on actually the newsletters, even though some stuff are rehash, but I'm really focusing on newsletters. There's a bunch of people who own this. Now, you will see a little bit that has a bunch of writing on it because the way I actually do this is that I actually not only read, I study it. So I put myself as if I'm putting myself back in college to really read this. So this edition talks about money is not mysterious. So he really talks about wealth in this area. So you're gonna hear me actually read this and every now and then keep on looking at you, making eye contact, and gives you my opinion upon that one. And one of the things that I like that Adam Whitty is actually doing is that every other month he sends us a book. So I'm looking forward for the book that I'm receiving now. So there's one thing that he gave, the book that I received last month or the month prior to that. It's called Hypergrowth Sale by Jack Daly. Jack Daly is a foremost trainer on sales, and he said there's one main thing he said that resonates to me. He said our job is not to grow the sale of the company, but to grow the salespeople. So ever since, what I've taken on to do is grow the salespeople at the office. So I'll tell you that those girls are not salespeople; they're pure customer service, like I've always been in my life. And what I've been doing is giving them insights on sale. Let's say if somebody come and buy Cascara Sagrada, offer the upsell, and offer until the person says, "No, I don't have any more." So if the person says they want Cascara Sagrada, hey, anybody that takes Cascara Sagrada usually take alfalfa and also ACS. You get it? And also 3Bs and also beetroots. And then the person came for one product and ended up getting a package, which is the body management system. Now, Dan can even mention we can use any tactics to actually offer the person more products as long as we know that's good for them. We're not causing harm. Now, I usually had a story about manipulation, how manipulation is not good, blah, blah, blah. Uh, I'm giving up that story. Why? Because as long as I'm doing it a way where it's not hurting people. So, what I'm also doing is creating an audience. So, whenever I record those, I actually create the possibility of sending them to friends of mine so that they can actually see me. And I'm making sure I have one person to see me live. And that's a good thing. You may wonder who's going to be here at this time. Okay, so No BS Inner Circle No BS Marketing Letter, November 2018. Money is not mysterious. It is a mystery to many, but for no good reason. Its secrets are visible. It moves from person to person and place to place for its own reason, but its own rationale. It is not subject to irrational forces like emotional blackmail or to claim of need or entitlement. It never distributes itself equally amongst any population because there is always initiative, intelligence, effort, persistence, and other value inequality for it to recognize. Most importantly, it tends to go where it is made to feel most welcome. So what he's talking about is money. You see, money is not mysterious. So where it's more welcome, that's where it goes. So I was listening to a little vibrational hey I was listening to one of those vibrational music last night, and when I was reading the comments, some people were fooling around. Some said that, hey, I listened to this, and the following week I made 1 million. Some people say, I listened to this, and I don't understand why I didn't even save the music, but I'll try to find it. Some other people were joking around. Some people talked about unexpected money came, but it was more like one of those sounds that actually come in. But really, what I got from the sound is the fact that the way it was being played, it actually gave an opportunity to really sink in your mind in a way where you'll be more welcome and to be more relaxed. So instead of praying, because I tell you this, if praying for money worked, I'm telling you, the big time prayer warriors would be wealthy. Prayer, what I was explaining to a friend of mine, prayer would give you the confidence to go take the action and the ideas, for you to work upon the ideas, take action upon the ideas that God would actually give to you. Now, you can create the vibrational being where you're a money magnet, that God can create that. Now, any other way that He works, I don't know. I've experienced some things, but there's always a money consciousness. So, what Dan Kennedy is talking about here is that it goes from person to person and it's irrational and it doesn't, and it does have the inequality, but the way it gets attracted, it takes a lot of initiative, which means there's action, intelligent effort, and persistence. And it'll go where it's most welcome. That means if you don't welcome it, it's not coming to you. And I think that's something that's very neat. In business, right now, the biggest, most dominant, and to you, dangerous 10 trend is commoditization. That's what I was referring to. I sold a person a package. I mean, the person got a huge package, but guess what? That person had an issue because they went online and they claimed they got it on Amazon for $160, which is 4 times less. I said, first of all, for you to get in that amount, it must be the 1 ounce bottles. So you didn't pay attention. But also, she was over dramatizing it. But I had to let her know is that you're actually getting my services. Because once you get on Amazon, you don't get a naturopath to work with you. And we got that voice quiet down quickly. So, commoditization, that's one of the things that's happening a lot right there. Where a lot of business owners, if they don't prepare themselves to put themselves on a platform that's going to allow them to survive the big monster, Amazon, then it's a problem. And democratization, creating price or fee and profit destruction, putting wealth beyond reach. Amazon is, pardon pun, prime example of this. Now, the only reason I use Amazon because I read this before. Um, Amazon, prime example of this, but is certainly not the only commoditizing villain. Amazon has been able to do that. It has done and can continue doing it for a simple reason. In the absence of profound reason to act otherwise, all but about 10% of consumers will default to the cheapest and to the most convenient answer to their need or interest. Now, a lot of merchants and professionals and other are failing to present reason to act otherwise. By their stupidity and sloth, Amazon and others in the business of cheapest and most convenient win. Money moves to them because no one steps forward to persuade it not to. So, what he's saying to you, you see, a lot of time business owners, they're not, they don't know or they're not presenting a persuasive reason why people would buy through them and not go and run after the cheapest or the most convenient. Now, I end up seeing my family, like brothers and everybody, always end up buying stuff from Amazon. Like literally, because oh, it's convenient prime, they send it to you the next day and blah blah blah, and it's cheap. Um, I didn't buy anything on Amazon until when I went to the Info Summit. We were doing a special. We wanted to make a book on Amazon number one seller. We all, within a specific hour, we bought the book. This is how you make a book bestseller. It's in a category when you have a bunch of people purchase it at the same time, then they'll give it the rank of number one. These are secrets I would have never known. This is why I go to those type of conference because they educate you a little bit more. And you want to be in contact with people that's really making moves, not people that's talking about it, people that's actually being about it. Now, anybody that has a question, they can actually check up with me. So what he's saying here is that a lot of business owners they're stupid enough where they're not creating persuasive reason. They're not presenting a persuasive reason for people to buy from them. Then Amazon end up getting those people who are going after convenience and cheapers. So that's what it was saying. So unless a person create that rhetoric where you're presenting yourself as it is and you're presenting the reason why you would get it from um, that they would get it from you, then the money's gonna go to these guys, whoever that persuades them to get it. So it's a big battle. In many respects, owning Amazon stock is a wager on the fretlessness of the majority of merchant and service provider. If you play crap, think of it as a don't pass. Bet against the shooter. So he's giving you an example of people that play and goes to the casino. So because there's so many people who would not merchant, who would not create a persuasive reason to actually keep a customer or have a customer come their way, then we're better off actually getting the the stock itself because the house will always win. Fortunately for you, whatever commoditizing and herd thinning the Amazons of the world achieve can be to your benefit. At least not Amazon's thinning alternative. There is where marketing matters most. Now, this is one of the reasons that I got myself involved in direct response. Now, one of the things I'm doing in my business, I'm starting to write copies. Now, I'm making it like a unique style. Instead of typing it, I write it. I make a copy of it, and then I input the people's names as we're going on. So it's a generic letter, but it seems like it's being addressed directly to the person. So these are the things that I'm doing. Um, and the fact that it's back and forth when the copy is, because I do it with black pen, so it'll look as if I actually wrote it, okay, brand new. So my goal, as I was doing my numbers, if I could send about really 3,960 a month at a 2% ratio. So let's look at it that way. Usually for these type of things, you want to look at 2 to 5%. It's considered great. So let's see what we're looking at here. 3,960 times 2%. It's come up to 79.2. So let's say 79.2 and we get them the yearly package, which is 325. If they do the yearly package, because I offered that as a special, That's, imagine you spending less than $500. You sent 3,960 letters, and you come up with 25,740. Now, one of the things they showed us, after you offer that, you want to offer something else. And that something would actually be like a newsletter, something that they're continually paying for. So let me give you an example. So the way Dan Kennedy showed that is that you want to create a listing for them to get something every month that they're going to be billed for. So I spoke to one of the companies I met there. The minimum is 400. So let's say 400 times 27. That would be about 10,800. Now, guess how much it cost me? When I spoke to them, it would cost me $1,149 so that they could send 400 4-page newsletter for me every month. My net profit would be 9,651. So for me right now, I'm looking for 400 people, or let's say 500 people, to actually want to get newsletter. And the way I'm planning on doing it is basically give all the new updates on herbs, always speak about the next place that's going to be certain events, in creating the listings. So out of all the people that I'm listening to, when I call them, I ask them if they want to receive a newsletter. Now, here's the way you do this. Usually, the way it's done, there's many ways. You can have the people ahead of time and you tell them the first edition is free, because remember, that's marketing. When they receive the first one, they see how nice it looks, very well written, all the things written, and you tell them that. Once they get that, they want to upgrade, they can pay yearly or monthly. Most people tend to do monthly reoccurring so that they don't have to do it yearly and then the person wanting to get a refund if they're not interested or if anything happens. So imagine monthly you having about $10,000 that comes into your account just because you're providing content every month that goes out on the same time every month. This is how these guys are doing it with us. So the way they do it, they show us that anything that they're doing to us, they're giving us an opportunity and a reason to do to them. Now, look at this. This is so thick. This is exactly 23 pages, 24 pages. Now, do you know why they do it that way? They find out people who actually tend to read, they love long copy because it becomes like a little mini book. Because then you get them entertained until the second month. Now, here's what these guys do. Let me show you the technique. Because I'm a diamond member, they give me two. So they send two different ones and they send CDs. So eventually, but guess what? They will charge 300 for it. Now, when they showed, initially I was getting one. But guess what they did? They're like, if you want to get the most value, the one I was receiving was just the regular gold, okay, was just something else. But now they created it. If you want to be a diamond member, said, well, we'll send you the diamond member. So they not only send you the gold and the diamond, so you end up having more information. So who would be in the world of marketing that would not want to have everything? Well, that's what actually happens. You want to have everything because you don't want the next person to have an upper hand over you. Now, most people who gets this, including me, they don't read it. They just skim through it and they don't even read it. I'm making my business to read it. Now, I'm making a commitment not only to read, but also to actually do this live on the video. Now, you will understand. This month's issue is a lot about money, prosperity, and wealth, and also about the season of Thanksgiving. These intersect because prosperity is to the greatest extent, a product of gratitude and grace and grateful action. Marketing, creatively, intelligently, aggressively carried. Now, one thing that's important in this newsletter, they talk about when a new Mustang. I am going to apply to win the Mustang. Um, by March, they're having an event, and they want to see the person that's been most impactful, or what they call the member of the year. People who their business have been so impactful for them. I'm creating that possibility because then I get to speak on stage. I like that. So when I get to speak on stage, my friends Robbie and all of them, they'll say Max that definitely said that. And what they would do, they would make Alan Malawi. He would be the one presenting the doing the honors. So let me show you these guys. Exactly what the guy said. He said he would bring all those top speakers. Um, so I got something to live for. Okay, so let's go back on this. Okay, these basically the events that's gonna go on this year and by next year. And I have a call on the 20th, which is the last call of the year. They try not to do a lot of events so that you could stay with your family. So here's the last piece. It says marketing, creatively, intelligently, aggressively carried out, is the way people grateful for their opportunities act. Whining, complaining, crying out of a socialist redistribution of others' wealth to them and making excuses for their disappointing situation is how people are not grateful for their opportunities act. Money is attracted by gratitude acted upon. So when you're grateful, God gives you more. It gives you more opportunity to act upon um, an opportunity for your life to actually be transformed. When you're not grateful, guess what? More misery. So people who complain so much, it's a problem. So money is attracted by gratitude acted upon. So if you're the type of person that is grateful, this is for you. All right. So I'm wondering if I'm going to do a two-part of this because I typically wake up early to go work out. So let's see how much can we get accomplished here. For my main book on money, I use the term wealth attraction, not pursuit of the create, not pursuit of or creation of. Although even I sometimes sloppily say it, none of us actually create wealth. We don't print money. All the wealth you and I get already existed. Most of it is already in motion. Attraction is what actually happens or doesn't. So I've been sharing that with friends of mine. I'm always kept on saying creating wealth, and really is creating the possibility of attracting it. So I was speaking to my friend Nat, that's a financial advisor or financial consultant, and I was mentioning that really all the wealth has been created already. It's right here available. So it's not something we're creating. We can create the possibility of attracting it, not creating the possibility for wealth. And I never realized that all this time I was putting it in all my notes. I could show you the the notes that I put in, and I sloppily put that, not understanding that what I was putting they had error. You see what it says? I am the possibility, you know. Now I know to put I am the possibility of attracting health, wealth, and love. Because before I was saying I am the possibility of creating it. How are you going to create something that already exists? You can create the possibility of it, but you're creating the possibility of attracting it if it already exists. So that's one of the things, being a student of life, it makes a world of difference. So attraction is not a mystery. If you want to attract gold, you leave porch light on, on at dusk. Rabbit, plant a backyard garden featuring lettuce and carrot, and so on. Basically, if you have a puddle of water, eventually you're gonna have mosquitoes. Okay, so there are things that attracts it. If you leave sugary stuff around, you're gonna have ants because it's an attraction. There are specific targeted magnetic action, Every creature, everything has some item or force to put in place that magnetically attract it. Action, reaction. Attracting money isn't much more complicated than that. Money reacts to a certain action taken by you, but ignored, but ignores you should fail to take those action. Two of the 28 wealth magnet in my book. Number 9, be somewhere. Number 10, do something. I actually have that book since I think March, April. Remember, I had gotten a whole bunch of material, and I'm like, hold on a second. I said to myself, I would be studying 2 hours a day, and I didn't do it. Now I'm realizing, and that's why people who have invested in me, they realize I'm like, okay, Max, you're getting this stuff. However, you're not having time to get them, to actually study them. So I had to become selfish with my time. And it cost me a whole lot, but I know it's going to pay off. It cost me a whole lot to actually really creating the time for me to get these material. First of all, I sacrificed my sleep, which in my peak performers group they said don't do that type of stuff. When it's nighttime, go to sleep. I still didn't listen to them all the way, um, and that's the part that I'm working on, making sure this activity happens after work. So I created a schedule on my last event. I haven't been able to keep up with it. And I just have to be a little strict on that. So what it was saying, there's an action, and if those action does not continually be done, then it's a problem. Let me show you what I did. Okay, there's some stuff I wrote a long time ago. Now, people who are thinking with all the things that I've read, listened to, and everything, so I had an idea. So I went into my I call it product room, and I have some boards that I write, and I put them all, plastered them all around. And I said, okay, what am I not doing? There was some action when I did it automatically brought wealth. When I stopped doing these action, as if I thought I'm better. One of them is really speaking to the customers. I create a story. Why do I have to speak on the phone? Yeah. Well, guess what? All the people who've created massive wealth, they created a system where they constantly would be on the phone. I realized when I actually call, I get more. I contact more and I get more than the people that's working at the office. Why? Because my mind frame is different. And the worst thing to be is complacent. And this is why I really appreciate these type of things. So let me give you an actual thing. My activity. So I created a 6-step activity. The 6-step activity, talk, text, because nowadays a lot of people, if you call them, they get upset. They feel like you should have texted them first to see if they're available to take your call. That's the last conference I just came from where Magic was. They're saying that how people get really funny. There's people, you call them, they're like, how dare you call me without texting first? I think that's weird. All right, you ready? So, talk, text, email, passing cards, posts, and now I added mail to it. I have it in my office. I just will find out what exactly I wrote, but I know I have something probably a little different. Now, if I do that times 180, okay, and I time it by 22, then it gives me 3,960 for the whole month of contact. Imagine you contact by text, talk, and all that. Time it by 25%, so it comes up to 990 prospects at 270, which is a special I'm currently doing, which comes up to 267,300. So when you time it by 12 for the year, it would be 3,207,600. Now, writing those numbers is easy. Doing the action is a whole different ballgame. So that's why it's always says it's easier said than done. So one of the things they're teaching me in my peak performer that's coming up in January, they mention things that relates to something very important, leveraging time. So when you have employees, you have to create a possibility that you're leveraging time. Basically, have them do. You want to be doing what they call the high payout value or high payout activity, HPA. That's from the book Hypergrowth Sales. Let me give you an example of what a high payout activity is. Making the calls. Like I showed them that you can call somebody and ask them for the credit card on the phone. They did that. They were surprised. I said, guys, it makes no sense when I'm not here that you're not able to make money. When I go and get trained, the last thing I have to be thinking about is that whether you guys are going to make money for the day or not. I said, the way we're going to do this is that every day is going to be a payday. What I plan on doing is put some kind of bonus structure in place. You say, whoever gets the most sale will get, let's say, $50 or $100 more that day. So if they do it today, they get paid the next day because the person did it by card. So therefore, we make it available the next day, or we make it at the end of the week. We add it to their check. Not bad. I know daily would be more of a motivation. You end up seeing you making $50 more than what you're already getting paid every day. That's 250 more. That's not bad. Some people, money is a motivation. So sales, that's kind of like how it is. You got to present them the money. So now think about that. We might have to do that. So it says in the book on the 28 wealth magnet, one, be somewhere and do something. Speak directly to this. Money movement are all about businesses and individual action provoking its predictable reaction. By what you actively plant, you harvest. Here's another thing I decided to do. I said that I wouldn't be coaching people anymore. I'll be coaching myself. Well, although I said that, I end up coaching two people, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. But what I did for myself, one of them says he's already making money. I want to give him a platform where he can actually be known and be coaching business. Because the way he's going about to be a speaker, it's all right. And he has a lot way to go. Um, the other person, uh, the coaching that I gave to him, had he followed it, he would have brought in about 12 grand this week alone because he's selling high ticket value. He's selling cars. He could have had about 12,000 that stays in his pocket, but at least 40,000 in business. But he didn't follow through. He wanted to do it his way. And I know I tend to be that way. And I failed this week. I didn't do 180 calls per day. Had I done that, 180 calls per day, we wouldn't be having this talk like that because I would be really, really, really tired. All right, let's go. So we can understand marketing as number one, the means of attracting money. All right, let me do it this way. So we can understand marketing as one, the means of attracting money, and two, as applied gratitude for opportunity, which itself is attractive to money. Applied gratitude for opportunity, which is in itself attractive to money. This may be different than how you routinely think of it. So don't be rushed by this. So don't rush by this. How not to need a sweater in hell. My father said that the seat closest to the furnace in hell was reserved for the person who denied, disrespected, and scorned opportunities. It seemed to me there's got to be a lot of competition for those front row seats. Because I certainly see most people squandering their opportunities. Just as example, 1 in 4 adults in America did not read even one potentially useful book in all 2017. Despite, despite a public library stocked with free books, ridiculously cheap books, Kindle, etc., this is squandering opportunity. May the squanderers roast two of the things given to me by my parents, for which to me, for which I constantly grateful are a desire to read and the willingness to figure out the answer to a question by reading. When somebody of accomplishment and earned success at something relevant to all, mm, okay, somebody of accomplishment and earned success at something relevant to me has gone to all the trouble to live their life and take a year out or two out of it to document it in a book, I think the least I can do in response is to read it. Now it's so funny because I have a bunch of friends of mine, they do not like to read. They do not like to read. And they always say, how come you know so much? I am so grateful that my kids, they love to read. Every single one of them. I'm so grateful for that. But much bigger opportunities are squandered by people with value to provide who get only tiny serving of it out of the world because they remain ignorant or are lazy about marketing, even about internal marketing. So if you had any doubts or maybe are newly arrived, you are in the right place right here and now. Now, one of the reasons I'm really saying this is like tomorrow I have 15 minutes to actually speak on something that is so awesome. Um, I have 15 minutes basically to speak with a group that's called Wakaya, where we have like a few thousand people that's actually jump on it. So my title was going to be about discipline. And I'm going to write a little short thing when I wake up after I go work out. I realize if I stay any longer, I have a whole lot of stuff to read. So the idea behind it was to actually finish this. So what I'm going to be responsible to basically document what it is. I think because I'm also making comments on it, that's why it's taking me long. So I am going to create the possibility of completing this as soon as possible. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump towards the page before the last, and then so I could complete this, and then after that I go to it. So let me go to that part of the page because I want to win the Mustang. Man, that would be fun. That's how that would go to work with. Okay, the Ford Mustang is one of the greatest products in the entire history of the American auto industry. Initially brought to the market by one of the most elaborate, extensive, aggressive product launch campaign. You can be awarded a brand new Mustang by winning the new No BS Inner Circle Marketer of the Year competition, but time to enter is nearly over and the doors closing fast. Go to nobsmoy.com and immediately. And if you have a working relationship with a No BS Inner Circle concierge or coach, call them at 800-871-0147. If with a local magnetic marketing advisor, meet with them about this. One way or another, get in the game. Okay, at Super Conference, former CEO of Ford, Alan Malawi, will present the keys to our Marketer of the Year and speak on the amazing turnaround of Ford to the rescue of the American icon and the remaking of the U.S. number one car maker From new creative vision to successful implementation, from boardroom to factory floor, into extraordinarily effective customer story based advertising to the dealers and salespeople. During the Mustang launch, a photograph was distributed to dealers with um, Iacocca and Frey standing with a Mustang, red Mustang. On the front was the license plate 417 by 4-17, which stressed Iacocca's sales goal of beating the Falcon record of 417,000 sales in its first year. By the evening of April 16, 1995, one day before the Mustang first anniversary, Ford dealers had sold 418,812 Mustang, a new record for the company. Ooh, I like that. So the Wealth Zone at Super Conference. This is the first year ever that the entire Super Conference will be devoted to wealth by entrepreneurship and by marketing. Save the date, March 21st to 24th. Go to nobsinnercircle.com, service events info to register for first registration opportunity. Plan on saddling up and riding into the Wealth Zone in Dallas, Texas. And exciting, just a few days later, as one of the fastest wealth marketer in the West. In the Wealth Zone, you will meet up. All right, my battery's running out. Steve Forbes, editor in chief magazine of Forbes, frequently expert commentator on Fox Business, as a voice of reason on Unreasonable World, 2 presidential candidate, is a forceful, articulate champion on capitalism. His own net worth is 430 million, placing him on the Forbes 500 list. His numerous books include Why Free Markets Are Moral and Big Government Isn't. And the next speaker is going to be Ken Fisher, is America's money manager, having built the largest money under management financial advisory firm with over 100 billion of its care, over 45,000 clients from start with $250 of its capital. Ken will not only share his perspective on the future economy, trends in successful investing, but will reveal much about his firm advertising and marketing machine, which, as you undoubtedly see, includes the use of LGM, lead generation magnets, magnetic marketing, print media, TV, direct mail, and sales representative. I was speaking to somebody that did this test today. He was being prideful by saying, "Oh, I know radio, but I don't advertise. All my people come from word to mouth." I said to him, what really gets you is because you have a multi-service where people coming to do money transfer. That's a lead generation because people will be sending money. So anybody that you've done tax for, they're always going to come by and know that, okay, you do tax and you do insurance. But if you did not have that as a business, like a money transfer, then only people would come to you is people that was thinking about you at the right time, at the right place, on the right subject. Other than that, you wouldn't be getting a referral. But if you have a money transfer company, of course, because people are coming there anyway to transfer money. Funny stuff. I used to say the same nonsense. My mom said it, and I said, "Mom, why don't you see? The reason why we advertise, when I changed my platform to reduce tremendously, I should have been more responsible on how I did that. Like at 4 in the morning right now, I'm going to have a show that plays. So imagine the show that I had that played, there's 12 people that call. Out of 12 people, 1 person came, and the other ones are prepared to come the following week. That's why we call that a lead generation. This is why I study these things, because they tell me how to do this. All right, almost done. Final thought, round table. What are you thankful for? Remember, that's the November piece that I'm recording now. Trump is thankful for Twitter, and Twitter And Twitter's Dorsey thankful for Trump. Though neither can admit it, Bezos, as noted in Box, is thankful for people larceny, stealing time at work to shop, for the employers resign surrendering to it. The folks at Starbucks are amazed and thankful at how many people gripping about $2 a gallon of gas will pay $20 a gallon for coffee. We all better be thankful for free market capitalism. Take a look at every country without it and the pain and suffering of 99% of its citizens. If you find yourself in this Thanksgiving table game, a ritual I find excruciating, you will probably pick something more familiar and pandering to sight, and that's fine. But I leave a suggestion for something worthy of gratitude that is best said only silently inside your head. That you have made yourself far superior to the most of everybody else in your success qualities, acquiring knowledge about money and why and how it moves about your field, profession, occupation, craft of business, about personal development and peak performance, and far superior in honest ambition, study ethic, work ethic, time management, persuasion skills, organized effort, emotional resilience, and I do mean superior. By the fact that you are here, it's a very good bet that you aren't head and shoulders above everybody eating from the same bowl of sweet potatoes around you and 85 to 99% of the teeming masses. You are probably more self reliant and self sufficient, better informed, give a higher percentage of your income to church, charity, causes, and indirect help to others, create more jobs, live at a greater economic and personal risk, of course. There may be high value people at your table, certainly in your neighborhood that we can be grateful for. Cops, firefighters, members of military, others, but in value to the societal ecosystem as whole. While many be important, it is the producer, the entertainer, who is essential. And in developed skills and skills of value, he is superior to the others. Enunciating this is most places as a bad idea. It's a shame. It can be openly discussed for some people might benefit from such discussion, but it has to stay our secret. One small caution: this fact of superiority can never be permitted to engender entitlement or arrogance or complacency. I, for one, am very grateful that you get up very early in the morning, sharpen your sword, and get out on the battlefield, fighting to be superior, to build a sustained contribution, build and sustain superior businesses, and to earn superior wealth by that contribution. Where I were there, I would applaud. It'd be nice if this understanding and appreciation was taught, but it'd be nice if cream filled chocolate donut lowered your cholesterol. Some things just aren't going to ever happen. Damn, got that. I'm persuaded. What I got is really to have to look at the appreciation of somebody that's willing to fight for what they believe and that see the opportunity as such. The last piece of the puzzle, well, see this, that's a ladder of success. My goal is to create the possibility of writing a book a week, like little booklets type, but at least 3 or 4 main books a year. The ideas as they come to put them in, frame them, and actually write them. So to me, that's one of the things that I look forward to. Let's see. Uh, okay. Not many people can handle this. So here's a little secret since the people are off right now. You ready? I just about grew up. By the way, Dan Kennedy, Renegade Millionaire System, the strange power of not changing things that do not need changed. I just about grew up hearing about, listening to, observing Fealty to Rich DeVos. His exit in September was of personal importance to me in many ways. People often ask me to name people of significant influence in my life, and that list has more people I did not know personally on it than people I did know or do not or do know. I glean and assemble more from earnest observation and study from a distance than I did from direct instruction or mentoring. DeVos would be on the top 10 list of the distance influencers. I met the man only once for less than 3 minutes in Agrippa in Greek line, but there is no telling how many hours over years I've put in paying close attention to him. If anybody is deserving a Persistence Award, which I was given by the Napoleon Hill Foundation in 2013, it'd be Rich. He and his partner failed in more than half a dozen different businesses, including one involving sinking of its only asset, a boat they had some success in, but exited from Nutrilite frustrated and leaving behind most of the organization they built to start Amway with one product in a rented garage. Full circle, Amway later acquired Nutrilite and its products, now accounted for two-thirds of the company's revenue. He survived tax-related prosecution by Canada, investigation in near business-ending prosecution by the FTC, defection of huge groups of the company's distributors, his own need for a heart transplant denied to him here in the United States then obtained overseas, any number of other arrow shot at the company or at him personally. For many years, just, uh, just as one war waged against his business ended, another began. There was no peacetime, yet somewhat ploddingly, more so than meteorically, with the odd little business began by two failing prone entrepreneur in a garage defined the entire establishment system for selling consumer product. Early on, a radical, much opposed renegade, Rich built multi-million dollar global company, a family business dynasty, and Ford 500 list wealth. Amway, short of American Way, even thrives in communist China. To me, the most instructive things of many things I observed by Rich is that was often enunciated by Rich, sometimes with bemusement, sometimes with irritation, was his steadfast, unwavering commitment to the things that did not need change. While he and Jay Van Handel built and ran the empire, and much more so as they let loose to the reins. People in the family, in the company, and big distributors were constantly pressuring for changes to everything. But Rich was dogged about three things. One, he said that there is no need to change the product. It should fit the divorce rule. It has to go down the drain and leave an empty bottle. I remember this. So basically, what he's saying, it has to be consumable. Okay, here's the thing. He said, hold on. Okay, hold on a second. Mm, The news back. Okay, okay. While he and Jay Van Handel built and ran the empire and much more, so as they let loose of the reins, people in the family and the company, Big Dishiro was constantly pressuring for changes to everything. But Rich dogged about three things. One, he said, there's no need to change the product. It should fit the divorce rule. It has to go down the drain and leave an empty bottle, clean with it, smear on it, eat it, drink it, consistently daily consumption. People are endlessly changing their product, eager to believe that an altered product will sell better, but products don't sell. Marketing and selling sell. Products don't sell. Two, the plan never needed change. In his case, the comp plan, the number, the opportunity. Yeah, he really said that. The comp plan, the numbers of the opportunity itself. That's two. The plan never needed change. In case, in his case, the comp plan, the numbers, and the opportunity itself. Three, the program, the fundamental means. Three, the program, the fundamental means by which a business is conducted to achieve success. For example, his mantra, a sale day is the Amway way. As niftily simple and succinct as Disney sales training for their balloon vendors, always in the middle of the street. Rich insisted in the program. He insisted the program as developed and did it in 1959 needed zero change in 2009. And he was right. The few times that smarter people drug Amway in a profoundly deviant direction with any of these three things that did not need changed, they got their ass handed to them and wasted a ton of money and had to hastily restore the core. Restore the core is, of course, an exercise I am intimately familiar with, and one of the behaviors I own, greatly influenced by observing Rich DeVos, profound stubbornness. Profound stubbornness about selling the product and working the program, not incessantly remaking them, implementing more, inventing less. Okay, invent less equals more money. Invent less equals more money. That's crazy. A reason divorce matters is as demonstration that it requires only a short list of absolutely clear and dogmatic held to principles that are organized and built and sustain truly epic success. So when we get that, you don't need an endless flow of new ideas. You don't need a constant change. You don't need a constant change. You don't need an endless flow of new ideas. You don't need a constant change, even in maelstrom of constant change. To be clear, his empire engine, Amway, was never and is not what it appears to be to outsiders and even the most of his distributors. It has serious flaws. It has been controversial for good reason, but can be said about most giant enterprises. Nonetheless, it proves that a simple set of strategies can be locked in and then scaled to virtually unlimited size and scope. If that's what you desire, DeVos is well worth hearing from. His most recent autobiography, Simply Rich, is deserving a patient, thorough reading. After reading it, not before. Also, the lighter fare, How to Be Like Rich DeVos by my friend Coach Pat Williams, the original coach of the Orlando Magic, the NBA team founded by DeVos. Now, here's the funny thing. You ready? I met Pat Williams, and I have his book. Okay, so that's Renegade Millionaire System. So, out of everything that I ever failed, one thing that makes sense to me right now is keep trucking, and I'm gonna keep swinging at it until I win. My kids have suffered, my wife has suffered, everybody has suffered for this. But I always told them there's going to be great times, and we'll be very grateful for those. My name is Max O'Carey. I'm a student of No BS Inner Circle, Peak Performer. My commitment is to study 6 to 7 hours a day and to create the possibility to finish work as quick as possible and still have family time to create the life that I want and that I love. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. Booyah.